Hey viewers, this is the day 140th of my journey to improve my communication skills. Today, as usual, I solved the daily LeetCode stick problem. And today's problem was Stone Game 8, and I solved this problem with the help of the dynamic programming. And after solving this problem, because uh, I don't know much about dynamic programming, so I watched one video on the YouTube regarding the dynamic programming. So in this, if we talk about the dynamic programming, we can solve the problems using two methods. First one is bottom to top approach, which is basically known as uh, which is basically one type of a dynamic programming. Another one is top-down approach to solve the problems regarding dynamic programming. So if you are going to solve the problem regarding dynamic programming, first of all, we must and should know about uh, the recursion process, how the recursion actually works. Then only we can solve the problem with the help of the dynamic programming. Apart from that, I grind the GitHub commands like git init, git add, git push, git commit, and many more git commands. So if we talk about the basic commands like git init, so git init command is basically used when we have to create a new repository to the existing project. Then we can use the git init, and the git status command is used. Suppose we made some changes in our project, so with the help of git status we will get to know which file and what which files we edited and which we didn't untrack. So with the help of git status we can check that. And then coming to the git add command is basically used when we have to stack some changes. Like if you suppose if we made some changes in some particular files, and if we want to stack the changes, we can particularly mention the file name, or else we can use git add dot, which basically include all the files whatever changes we made in our project. So the next command is git commit, and git commit is basically used when suppose we made some changes in our project and we want to save those changes permanently in our local computer or local server. So for that purpose we can use the git commit. Then coming to the git push is basically used when we have to whatever the changes we made on a local project, if we have to push it into the remote repository, we can use the command git push. And that's all about the basic git commands which I learned today. And after this I understood one of my project, which is basically a code lens. So what does the code lens basically do? So it basically AI based reviewer which reviews our code. Because suppose if we are working on a project, like, as a member of a team, so every person have a specific domain in that project, and I worked as per my domain, and I want to raise PR pull request to that project. Like if I made some changes, if I create some files and I want to that the main code base, for that I have to raise a pull request. But before adding to the code bases, there is a one person which who is known as a reviewer who will check that what whatever the code I wrote, what that code has an impact on the main code base. Will it slow down the main project? Will it uh, uh, will it make some security issues to the main code base? So this kind of stuff will be done through the help of code reviewer. And our project is basically only doing the same task, but about the existing models. Like if you talk about the code rabbit, what actually the code rabbit does is like they will it will take all the codes and push into the LLMs, and it basically uses a vector embedding. So what actually the vector embedding is? So whatever the code we will push into our as a form of a pull request, it read it as a plain text and convert in the form of a binary digits. So suppose if we have a 10,000 files which might contain lakhs lines of code, so it is very difficult for the LLM to optimize or to detect the bugs, to detect the errors, to detect what is wrong in our code, or is it or whatever changes we are making, is it contain any confidential data. So it's very difficult for the LLM to identify that. So for to rectify this or to improvise, we use AST, which is basically known as abstract syntax tree. So with the help of abstract syntax tree, we can make our code in the structure format so that it will be very easy for the LM to read it out and find the bugs in our project. Along with that, we also include the dependency graph, and another thing which we add is like we point, or we can give a rating, or this type of rating, like which code have a more connection, it have highest priority. So with the help of this, we will get to know, like suppose if I wrote some code in our project, it will check the dependencies for that code. So, what impact that code will made on the code spaces. Rather than reading all the files of the code base, it will just rectify the files, find out, and then work on it. Then finally, 6 phase reviews are there. We check the security issues, bug issues, implementation plan, then three more, which will check whether there is any bug, and if we add this file to the main project, will it slow down our project, will it do some security issues for the main project. If such kind of stuff will happen, or it might contain some confidential data, if such kind of things available, it will return it as a bug. And finally, there is a verification will happen via the another AI agent, which works over the 6 agents, and after this we will get the final output whether we should add this to the main code base or not. So this is all about our project code length. And coming to my communication skills, today again I continued reading the book Rich Dad and Poor Dad, and here uh, still I am just reading the first title. The people, the poor people who are working for the money, and the rich people have the money work for them. And in this, and whatever I read today is basically the rich dad give a lesson to the Mike and the author. Like he was just increasing the pay for 1 hour. Like initially he was giving 10 cents, and then he told that I will give $1, $2, $3. He just wanted to check their how obsessed they are for money. So he was just checking this, and in the end he was giving $5 for an hour, and for that time it's very big amount. And in the end he conclude why even even people earning so much, they still worried about the money, even if they are earning in lakhs or millions. So this is all about what which I learned today. And yeah, this is all about the day 140 of my journey to improve my communication skill. Still, it's the beginning. I have to work a lot towards my communication skills, technical skills, as well as uh, public speaking also. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the tomorrow video. Bye bye.